And we're live. Welcome back to Nowhere Bound. My name is Mike, and I want to introduce you to Gina. Internet, Gina? Gina Internet.
Hi, Internet.
And thank you for coming on this episode with me. This is story time today, and we're going to be talking about what we now affectionately refer to as the incident. I was reluctant to even talk about this story because it's embarrassing, I'll be honest. I messed up. I'm a rookie to the whole Jeep overlanding four-wheel drive thing, and I had a little more confidence this day than I should have, and it could have been a lot worse. But thanks to this little guy right here, this is my Garmin In-Reach Mini. It is a satellite communicator that allows us to... We're out in the country and a tractor's driving by. So, this little guy is my Garmin In-Reach Mini 2. And this literally saved the day for us. I wouldn't say it saved our lives. It probably saved my life because Gina was about to kill me. But we're going to try to do this a little bit differently, and I'm actually going to show you some footage from that day because I wasn't intending to make an episode out of this. We were just out there for the day, just for ourselves, to enjoy some jeeping around the woods, and you know, the weather was pretty nice and we just wanted to go have fun. We've done that before. There's been many trips we've done without filming, but since I have the camera mount in the Jeep and I always have a GoPro with me, I did do a little bit of filming on the dashboard, and then when the incident occurred I got out the camera and did some more details. So I ended up pushing the SOS on this device, and it found help for us and got us out of the woods, literally. So we're going to watch some of the footage from that day and just react to it in real time. I'll put the footage on the screen and us as we're watching it. So as we're watching, we'll just kind of talk about how things unfolded. Now, we went out there, and for a while it was actually a lot of fun when we first found the trail, right? It was pretty easy, and we were just splashing around in some mild mud puddles in a creek, and it was actually perfect. And this is kind of what it looked like. See, no big deal.
No big deal. Jeep was doing great.
Yeah, I think I made a comment.
Richie Mines is no joke, man.
It was no joke.
Little did we know.
That was a premonition.
Definitely fun.
Yep.
Another something that changed shortly after this. It was fun for a while. Now you were having a good time at this point, right?
I was,
and
I wasn't worried. Yet.
Okay, now this is the spot. I'm going to pause it. This is the spot where we ran into trouble.
Yeah.
And I'll just let it play.
Beginning of the incident.
The beginning of the incident is right here.
I'm guessing. Oh shit, I don't know.
You just look up this bank and see.
And you're always so good about doing that. You always get out. And
Wait, here's the replay. Slow motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do try to be responsible. Now, before we go any further, let me just say that I was somewhat prepared with this Garmin. I also had some traction boards that I brought.
Right.
I had a tow strap with me. We went out there, and I was assuming that we would run into a bunch of people since it was a nice day. It's a popular four-wheel drive area.
Right.
This is Richie Mines. I don't think I mentioned that yet. And I assumed if we got into a little bit of trouble, we could get someone else to just pull us out of the mud, or you know, and just like in this shot here, I was going to be very careful and try to do this responsibly.
Right.
And
Richie Mines had other ideas.
Richie Mines and the clay mud that is everywhere out here,
Yep.
it's just really, really slippery. So let's keep watching and see what happens. I guarantee we got that on film.
I hope so.
Looks like our best bet is to go up this way. It's freaking slippery. Yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Very.
Now, another thing that I do want to mention is that this road is on a map. It's on Google
Yeah.
as
you were
a
using GPS. I think.
GPS county road.
Yeah.
They should delete that.
Yeah, they should.
Because I was following the GPS track, and even the guys who came and helped us
Right.
later, they said the same thing. You were probably following GPS.
Yeah, and don't do that.
No. So, fair warning, if you follow your GPS into this area, don't.
Don't do this.
No. Or at least have a winch. I definitely don't want to go through that. So,
Oh shit.
we're going to go up there.
I think right here is when I kind of thought maybe this might
You
not
know,
be
I think that you,
I might shut my eyes, but you're in charge.
good. Yeah.
and that's exactly what you
There's a
did.
tree
That's
we might
exactly
slip
what I
into.
did.
That's my
Your eyes were shut from this point.
concern.
And this is kind of
Problem
embarrassing.
is, I can't really do it slow either.
We'll just,
Now keep in mind, I just slipped in the mud on my feet.
Right.
I can
And-
try to do it slow, and if
That
I
was a
need to
sign,
back out, I
probably.
can do that.
That was a
fast.
sign I should have turned the hell around right
Yeah.
there. But I had my lift kit, I wanted to test the Jeep. And to be fair, we did make it up this little hill.
Just don't want to hit these trees.
Your eyes were closed.
My
right
eyes
now,
were
weren't they?
closed. Yes.
And I didn't hit a tree.
Yet.
Yet.
But now look what we have to contend with.
oh my god, Mike.
That's when you opened your eyes and
Yeah.
Okay.
saw the horror show.
Yeah. I knew there was no way.
I think this means it's time to turn around. There, we're safe. You're not going to tip over. Let me just go out there and take a look without falling on my ass.
Again, you're really good about trying to get a plan.
Yeah. Except the plan I should have had was to have a winch on the Jeep,
Correct.
which I did not
Which you
have.
did not have.
And
no
this is
one
why,
was.
kids, if you're going to do this kind of riding around in the forest, have a winch or have someone else with you. I had neither. And never assume you're going to find
Everything's
somebody.
okay, don't worry.
So we were about 3 or 4 miles into the woods here.
Yeah.
If you feel it slide, don't worry. We're not going to slide into anything.
My eyes are closed
Yep.
at this point.
But you felt
Clear
it
behind
slip.
I felt it slip.
Okay. We're right before the moment of no return where everything went south. But before we talk about that, just a quick programming note. We are offering a special deal to new Patreon subscribers right now. We have these cool stickers, and everybody who joins Patreon will get 2 free stickers until we run out of them. Everything that we make goes towards gas and towing bills. Seriously though, I'm trying to make YouTube my full-time gig, and that's mostly because of the feedback I've been getting from all of you all. There's a few videos on the channel now that people are really enjoying, and I appreciate you watching them. And I'm going to keep it going as long as I can, but need money to do that, so your support is very much appreciated. There's also a few products available from our sponsors. The links are in the description along with discount codes. And if you click those links and buy your products that way, it really goes a long way in helping the channel grow. So we appreciate it. Anyway, enough of the commercial. Let's keep watching the video. We're about to get stuck.
Yep.
And I'm glad we can laugh about it now,
Yeah,
right?
me too.
But it took
I
us...
was not laughing about it
No.
then.
I was traumatized by this too. Just, I don't know if I ever told you that, but
No, you didn't.
I was ready to sell the Jeep. I'm like, why am I doing this? I've changed my mind since then, but anyway, let's keep watching. So right here I'm trying to back out of that
Okay.
little hill that I climbed initially.
Yeah.
And it's just completely covered in slippery wet mud. Now the Jeep is just slowly sliding farther and farther into this trench that I've created,
Yeah.
and I'm realizing at this point that I'm not getting out of this. And you've never seen this.
I've never seen this.
All right, I think we're stuck.
And there it is. So what was going through your mind at this point?
So I opened my eyes. I saw, of course, out of the side of my window, just
The ground.
the ground and mud. I remember you came around to my side. Was going to try to get me out of that side, and
I couldn't open the
you
door.
couldn't open the door.
So we had to climb. You had to climb out of the driver's side
Correct.
to get out of the car.
Yeah.
I didn't film any of that because it was very stressful,
It was
especially for you.
Yeah, it was really, really. I'm not gonna lie. I did panic.
I will say that I knew the whole time that we weren't in danger of getting hurt. So
I just wanted out of
yeah,
I have a little bit of claustrophobia, and I just and I was worried about the dogs.
the dogs.
We
Yeah,
had Juniper and Annie, and Annie's not a young puppy anymore, so I was a little worried about her.
yeah.
And I wanted out of the Jeep.
Okay, let's keep watching. I think this is the part where I got my GoPro out by hand and I just explained the situation.
This
So
is after I began breathing in a normal pattern.
yeah, we were about 20 minutes after getting stuck at this point, and I had already pushed SOS.
Okay.
And this is why you don't go off-roading without a winch or without other people. This Jeep is very stuck, and it's at a solid 45-degree angle. It was less than 45. Probably doesn't look so bad. It felt like 45.
Yeah, it felt like 40.
But it looks and feels like it's about to tip over. The axle's probably completely flexed open. So we've been here waiting about 20 minutes. I pressed the SOS button on the Garmin In-Reach, and at least I was smart enough to bring that. But I will never attempt off-roading like this alone again without a winch. True story. I'm getting one. The Jeep's okay, it's just stuck in the mud, and we were close to hitting some of these trees over here. I underestimated how slick this mud is. It is super slippery mud up here.
It's just thick.
Yeah. We have not hit any
clay.
trees.
Yeah.
Everybody's okay. Gina is a little bit rattled.
Description.
I don't blame her. I feel stupid for putting her in this situation. But I'm sorry. I wouldn't have attempted
got me
this
out
if
of
it was actually dangerous. I knew there was a risk of getting stuck. I also assumed that there would be a lot of people out here today. And we've only seen one small group of people in the last 2 hours driving through. So I had to go through the weeds in order to stand up.
Yeah.
And with it getting late in the day, I decided to press the SOS button. So we've been waiting about 25 minutes, I'd say. They acknowledged the call and we answered a few questions, and hopefully someone will be here soon. I'm sorry, Gina. You are an incredible sport to even dare to exist in my presence.
Thank God it wasn't hot like it is today,
Yeah,
you know?
I know. So I just want to talk about my experience with Garmin. They texted me back and said, "What's the nature of your emergency?" I told them what happened, that it was just a vehicle stuck, there were no injuries. They asked if we had food and water. I told them we had water, which
Right.
that was very smart. We actually brought the water for the
For
dogs.
the dogs. Yeah.
But we needed it too. All in all, we were out there for about 5 hours, I think.
Yeah, this happened about 4:45.
4:45.
We got back here at 10:45.
Yeah. And you'll see a little bit later on, it was dark when we were finally getting pulled out.
Yeah.
Got a bug. All right, so they sent 3 guys out.
Right.
The first guy showed up on a 4-wheeler. And we could hear that guy echoing. I think you said, "I think I hear somebody."
Yeah.
And then,
And I think Annie barks constantly. So
Yeah.
I think that helped actually in this instance that, he could hear the dog barking. And then you were at that point trying to get the Jeep out with the
Yeah.
traction boards.
and I was making some progress. You can see in this shot actually that I'm up out of that hill. If I would have kept working at it, I could have gotten out of there with the traction boards, because I was definitely making progress and it was working.
Yeah.
However, I still think it was smart for us to make sure we had help getting out of there.
Yeah.
And once I was up on level ground, at least we could use the Jeep for shelter if we needed it without feeling like it was going to tip over.
Right.
So,
So the first guy showed up on the 4-wheeler.
yeah.
Kind of assessed the situation and had to drive, I don't know, maybe,
Took them about a half an hour.
Yeah, back.
After he found us, they came back a half an hour later with the tractor with Caterpillar wheels.
for the rest of the world, that's a skid
The
steer.
skid steer. We talked about it before, and I called it the tractor with Caterpillar wheels. She thought it was funny. I couldn't remember. Skid steer.
Skid steer. Because the tow truck could not make it to.
No,
Where
there was
we were.
no way a tow truck was getting back there. So on the front of the skid steer, they had a winch apparatus, and they needed to use snatch blocks on some trees because of the angle we were at. So I'll just play some of the recovery for you now.
Amy's trying to help him.
Yeah. They were very good about being careful, taking their time so that the Jeep didn't get scratched
Yeah,
or
no more
anything like that.
damage.
Right. And there really wasn't any damage at all.
That is where we started.
This is definitely embarrassing for me. I should have known better.
And that is where I flipped out.
really awesome.
Oh, I know. This was Memorial Day,
Yeah.
and they were out there on a holiday.
I could finally breathe.
And this is when we were exiting the forest, following the tractor.
And at one point, we had actually talked about taking off on foot and walking back towards the main road.
That's a good point.
And this is what we would have had to have walked through.
Yeah, there was no way we were going to do that. So, if I were by myself and got into this situation all alone, I probably would have been willing to walk. However, I would have been thigh high with muddy, wet water, and I probably would have fallen, 20, 50 times or whatever. There was no way I was going to put you through that, or the dogs, We made the right call. And again, I want to really stress how awesome it was to have this. This was probably the best investment I ever made, and I'm never going to go out without it again.
Yeah, we had no cell phone signals at
No.
all, and no one knew where we were. We didn't tell a soul
That was another mistake.
that we were going out to do this.
Yeah.
So probably no one would have realized it until the next morning when I didn't show up for work.
Right.
And they would have had no idea where to even look.
Right.
So thank God for that thing.
Yes, and I'm really glad I brought it out. So I think there's several lessons to be learned from the incident.
The incident.
Number one, always at least tell somebody where you're going, or have somebody with you if you can. If you are going to go out alone, be prepared with the right gear. You need to have a winch. I needed to have a winch that day. It would have easily saved us from a very large towing bill and a lot of stress and many hours being stuck. But it's not only the winch. You need to have the right winching gear, and that includes snatch blocks, tree protector, tow straps, chain. There's kits that you can get on Amazon. I did buy one, and that leads me to the next thing I wanted to say, is that the Jeep now has a winch.
Yes.
And
Thank
at the end of the video, I'll give you a quick tour of what the Jeep looks like right now, but have a winch, have winching gear. Traction boards are great. Bring a shovel, also walkie-talkies.
Walkie-talkies would have been
Yeah,
good. Food,
right.
water.
So I feel silly for not being prepared.
And that thing was
This,
a great thing to
yes.
have too. Thank God for that thing.
Highly recommend it. So, anyway, I'll end the video by just saying thanks for sticking around until the end. We really appreciate you being here and watching the video. Gina, thank you for being such a good sport. And
Absolutely.
will you go out again?
Yes, now that we have everything that we need, absolutely.
Okay, good. Thanks. So I'm forgiven.
You're forgiven
Thank you
for that.
for that. So before you click off of the video, just take a look at what the Jeep looks like now. We hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks again, and we'll see you nowhere soon. Take care. Anyway, let me start that whole segment again.
Can we please have a blooper reel?
Oh, we're going to.